Welcome, bienvenidos, benvindo to the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here, the only English language podcast devoted to South America's premier club competition. I'm your host, Howard Hamilton, the founder of Soccermetrics. If you reside in the USA and Mexico, I hope you're able to watch the solar eclipse if your area fell under the path of totality. Let's talk now about a tournament that eclipses everything in South America, as Colombia's El Heraldo newspaper puts it. The lights haven't gone out on any of the teams in the Copa Libertadores group stage, but a number of teams are under pressure in match week 2. We'll run through the matches that will be played this week. But first, let us start with news from the Libertadores. And the big news from the weekend is that CONMEBOL has opened investigation into events that occurred at the match between Rosario Central and Peñarol. And this is a report in Argentina's Ámbito Financiero newspaper. Now, to give a recap of what happened during this match, or before this match, 9 minutes before the match, hardcore Rosario Central fans were reported to throw metal barriers from the upper deck of their stadium onto the section of the stadium that contained Peñarol fans. Now, at Libertadores matches, away fans do have a presence in matches. In league matches in Argentina, away fans are banned from most matches, definitely in Buenos Aires, and limited cases in the interior of the country. At the end of the match, one of the Peñarol players, Maximiliano Oliveira, was hit by a rock, and there are images of blood streaming down his face onto his uniform, and there are reports that he suffered a concussion and fainted in the dressing room. Now, both clubs have released statements about the matter. Rosario Central, in their statement, stated that they were going through security cameras that were mounted within the stadium to identify the culprits. And they were asking the public to submit photos and videos that will allow them to identify those responsible for the events that occurred. Peñarol, in their statement, said that they would conduct an investigation on their end and communicate the findings to CONMEBOL. Now, there's a range of possible punishments that could happen as a result of this incident, going from a warning, a verbal warning to one club or the other, or both clubs, an economic fine between $100,000 to $400,000 US, and that could be significant considering that teams in the Libertadores receive $1 million per home match. The result could be annulled. Rosario Central could be ordered to play upcoming Libertadores matches behind closed doors. There could be a full stadium ban in which Rosario Central is not allowed to play matches in Rosario or within a given radius of Rosario, or expulsion from the tournament. And expulsion from the tournament actually did happen in a Libertadores match involving Boca Juniors almost 10 years ago. Now, if we consider which punishments are unlikely to most likely, I think we can say that it's unlikely that Central would be banned from the tournament. I think we could also say that it's unlikely that Central will escape with a verbal warning from CONMEBOL. I think even those of us who are cynical, justifiably, about these federations or these confederations' willingness to punish clubs for incidents such as these, would be willing to admit that it's very unlikely that Central will escape with just a verbal warning. So if we consider the other possible punishments, an annulled result is probably not likely because these were incidents that happened before and after the match. So now we can discuss the punishments that are possible. It is very possible that Central will suffer an economic fine of some sort. And the question will be, what is the severity of that fine? Will it be $100,000 or $400,000? So in effect, either 10% to 40% or more of the home match fee that home teams receive for Libertadores matches. Central also run the danger of having to play matches behind closed doors. So they would be suffering a loss of revenue from home matches. They could also run the risk of a stadium ban, in which they're banned from playing their next Libertadores matches within a given radius of Rosario. So I believe that it is very likely that Rosario Central will have to pay a fine of some sort and may have to play behind closed doors, just going on previous precedent for CONMEBOL punishments that occurred during Libertadores home matches. Now, May 7 is the next home match for Central and Libertadores. So it is very likely that CONMEBOL will complete their investigation and mete out whatever punishments they choose to impose by that date. But we will provide further updates on whatever CONMEBOL does as a result of this investigation. Well, that's the end of part one of the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show. In part two, a preview of match two of the group stage. Part two of the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here. We'll preview the 16 matches that make up the second match day of the group stage. And we'll start with Group A. In Group A, Fluminense will play Colo-Colo on Tuesday night at the Maracanã. Fluminense's last match was their Libertadores match against Alianza Lima. They're done with state football play in Brazil. Their last match was on March 16. And their next domestic match in Brazil is the start of the national championship against Bragantino on Saturday. Colo-Colo lost 3-0 to Nublense and are seventh place in the Chilean Primera División. This match is going to be interesting because Marcelo and Arturo Vidal, two figures for their respective teams with extensive playing experiences in Europe, are going head-to-head. Arturo Vidal in the press has said that he wants to have a go at Marcelo. So it'll be interesting to see how their play against each other evolves during this match. Another news is that Herman Cano, the striker for Fluminense, is now back from injury and is available for selection in the lineup. This appears to be a relatively even match. I think Fluminense have more of an advantage being a home match, but Colo-Colo are coming off a win in their previous Libertadores match, so it will be an interesting matchup. In the other Group A encounter, Cerro Porteño will host Alianza Lima on Wednesday. Cerro are coming off a loss to Colo-Colo, and they won at the weekend against Sportivo Trinidense 3-1, and are in second place in Paraguay's Apertura tournament. Alianza won 4-0 at Carlos Manucci and are in second place in Peru's Liga Uno. Cerro Porteño had an interesting young player who hasn't yet appeared in a Libertadores match, but has emerged as a new striking threat. And his name is Gabriel Aguayo, 19 years old. I said he hasn't yet appeared in a Libertadores match. I don't believe he was even on the bench in their match against Colo-Colo. So it'll be interesting to see when he is given a chance to appear in a Libertadores fixture. There's a lot of excitement about him currently. For Alianza, the player who is generating the most excitement is Kevin Serna. He played extremely well on the left flank against Fluminense. He created a goal, and actually he scored a goal against Fluminense. And Felipe Melo, the experienced defender for Fluminense, said that he really struggled with his speed. He was really surprised by Kevin Cerna. He was not someone who had really appeared on their scouting chart. Gabriel Costa is injured for Alianza and didn't travel with the team. And Cerro Porteño appear to be the favored side in this matchup. Group B features one of the featured matches in this group stage. Barcelona will host Talleres on Wednesday. Talleres drew 1-1 at home to Independiente Rivadavia and lie in fourth place in Zona A of Argentina's Copa de la Liga with one match to play. The key players for Talleres include Ruben Bota, who made a strong contribution to Talleres' 2-1 victory over Sao Paulo. But Ramon Sosa, perhaps Talleres' best player over Argentina's first domestic tournament, was injured in their Libertadores match, and he is out for 3 weeks. Barcelona defeated Deportivo Cuenca 4-0 on the weekend and are in 7th place in Ecuador's Liga Pro, but they do have 2 matches in hand. This match was interesting in that Barcelona played most of their starters. Brian Oyola scored, and Francisco Fijuszewski scored as well. So it's almost certain that Oyola and Fijuszewski will appear for Barcelona in their Libertadores match. So it will be interesting to see if they will suffer any fatigue issues as the match goes on. Barcelona are the favorite in this match, but Talleres have a really good chance of achieving an away win in this fixture, more so than almost any of the teams playing this week in Libertadores. The other Group B match is Sao Paulo versus Cobresal on Wednesday. Sao Paulo were eliminated in the Paulista playoffs on March 17, and their next match is the opening round of the Brasileirão on Sunday. Cobresal are currently bottom of the Primera División in Chile, and are the only side in the competition without a win. Sao Paulo are strong favorites in this match, according to the bookmakers, but they are nursing a very long injury list. At least 6 players are out for the team, including Lucas Moura, formerly of PSG and Tottenham Hotspur. The Group C encounters are Estudiantes versus the Strongest, played on Tuesday, and Grêmio versus Huachipato, also on Tuesday. Estudiantes are a point out of the Copa de la Liga playoffs with 1 match to play. They still have to play a match against Boca Juniors, which was suspended after one of their players, Javier Altamirano, collapsed in the first half. The Strongest are in the playoffs of Bolivia's Torneo Apertura, the first phase of which concluded over the weekend. And Estudiantes are the strong favorite, pun not intended, in this matchup. Grêmio are also strong favorites in their match against the Steelers of Huachipato. They won their Gaucho State tournament by a 3-1 victory over Juventude, and they play at Vasco da Gama on Sunday in the opening round of the Brazilian Championship. Huachipato's match against Palestino was postponed because of both teams' participation in Copa Libertadores. Huachipato are currently in 12th place in Liga Chile. Group D will feature what are, in my opinion, the 2 matches worth watching in this second match day of the Libertadores group stage. One match will feature Atletico Junior versus Universitario on Tuesday, and the second match will be Liga Deportiva Universitaria de Quito versus Botafogo on Thursday. Junior's having to prioritize matches, like every team in the Libertadores. And they played their second team against America de Cali over the weekend, losing 4-1. This is a matter of controversy. And Arturo Reyes, the manager of Junior, actually got into it with a reporter on Monday on discussion about the relative quality of the first and second teams for his team. Universitario has an issue with a number of players, particularly Jairo Concha, who is now back from injury. And the main question is whether or not he will play for La U. The manager, Fabian Bustos, still has to decide on his midfield, as he has a number of options that are now available, but he also has players who have gained a fixture, who have become mainstay in the lineup for Universitario. The bookmakers see this as a very even match, but Junior are slight favorites in this encounter. And this is an encounter between two teams that won their opening matches in the Libertadores group stage. In the match between Liga de Quito and Botafogo, we have two teams that lost their opening matches. Liga lost away to Universitario, while Botafogo were shocked at home versus Junior. Botafogo play at Cruzeiro in the opening round of the Brazilian Championship. Liga won 2-1 at El Nacional, are in fifth place in the first round of Liga Pro. There was some rotation from the side that played against Universitario, but there were several players, particularly in the midfield and the defense, who played in that weekend match. Now, again, this is a very important match for both teams because a loss will see them with a very strong disadvantage going to the last four matches of the group stage. A win will put either team's chances back on track, and a draw, depending on what happens in the match against Junior versus Universitario, may still not be sufficient. Liga are a favorite in this match, primarily because of the altitude, but also because of some uncertainty surrounding Botafogo. Group E matches feature Flamengo versus Palestino, played on Wednesday, and Bolivar versus Millonarios, played on Thursday. Flamengo play at Goianiense on Sunday in the opening round of the Brazilian Championship, while Palestino are in fourth place in Chile's Primera División. Flamengo are a very strong favorite in this encounter. Bolivar lost their last match against Chile San Jose over the weekend in the last round of the regular stage of the Apertura tournament. They are in the Apertura playoffs, which will be played starting next weekend. Millonarios haven't played since their match against Flamengo and are 5 points outside the playoff place of Colombia's Torneo Apertura with 3 matches to play. Millonarios have a number of players who will not be present in this match against Bolivar. Larry Vasquez was suspended because of a red card that he received while denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity against Flamengo. David Silva, the captain of Millonarios, was injured and did not travel with the team. And Daniel Catano, while injured, did travel with the team, but it's more unlikely that he will play on the bench. Millonarios are dealing with a long injury list, no fewer than 8 players are injured, 3 of which with long-term injuries. Omar Bertel, the left back, defender Danilo Spanghero, and winger Luis Paredes. There won't be an altitude adjustment necessary for either of these two teams. It's true that Bolivar play at 13,000 feet, but Millonarios play in Bogota, which is at an altitude of 8,600 feet. So for that reason, among others, Bolivar are a favorite, but not as strong of a favorite as Flamengo is against Palestina. Group F sees Independiente del Valle host San Lorenzo on Wednesday. And the second match is Palmeiras versus Liverpool of Montevideo on Thursday. San Lorenzo is out of the Copa de la Liga playoffs. Their next domestic match in Argentina will be the start of the league tournament next month. IDV defeated Libertad of Ecuador 3-0, and they are in second place in the first round of Liga Pro. So this appears to be the most evenly matched encounter of not just the group, but across all 16 of the group stage matches. Even then, I would favor Independiente del Valle in this encounter. Palmeiras face Vitória in the opening round of the Brazilian Championship on Sunday. Liverpool of Montevideo won 3-1 at Phoenix and are in 10th place in the Torneo Apertura. This match was interesting in that Liverpool, unlike a lot of the teams in the group stage of Libertadores, played many of their starters. Enzo Martinez of Liverpool will be suspended because of a red card that he received in the match against Independiente del Valle. Group G sees another one of our featured matches of this round of the group stage. Atlético Mineiro will host Rosario Central on Wednesday. Atlético play at Corinthians on Sunday in the opening round of the Brazilian Championship. Rosario Central will wrap up their participation in Copa de la Liga over the weekend and wait for the league competition to start next month. This appears to be an evenly matched encounter. Both teams are coming off wins in their opening matches of Libertadores. Atlético Mineiro are favorite in this match. But it will be interesting to see how well Central play on the road compared to Atlético Mineiro's strong form at home. The other match will feature Peñarol hosting Caracas FC on Wednesday. Peñarol lead the Apertura tournament in Uruguay, and they're coming off a 2-1 win over Deportivo Maldonado away. Caracas had the scoreless draw against Metropolitanos and are in 11th place in the Apertura tournament. Peñarol are a significant favorite in this encounter. Finally, we turn to Group H. Libertad will host Venezuela's Deportivo Táchira on Tuesday, and River Plate will host Nacional on Thursday. Libertad are the current leaders of Paraguay's Apertura tournament, and they defeated Guarani 2-1. On the other hand, Deportivo Táchira lost 2-0 at Universidad Central and are in 6th place in Venezuela's Apertura tournament. In the other match, River are coming off a dramatic 2-1 victory over Rosario Central that sent them into 3rd place of Zona A of Argentina's Copa de la Liga with one match to play. There's an ongoing debate in Argentina right now. There's an interesting article in Argentina's Olé Sports Daily about Di Michelis's performance for River. And the question is, can he continue winning, or is it acceptable for him to continue winning but not win the River way? So there have been a number of matches in which River had not played their best football. They didn't play their best football against Rosario Central. They didn't play, or they weren't playing their best football against Deportivo Táchira for long periods. But they turned around both of those matches through their substitutions. Against Táchira, with the entrance of Echeverri; against Central, with the entrances of Herrera, um, Ignacio, and Barco. Uh, River are the favorites in this match. I would rate them fairly strong favorites. But if they have another subpar performance for significant parts of the match, or if they struggle to come out with the victory, I believe that those questions about Di Michelis will continue to linger. Nacional defeated Cerro Largo 1-0 and are in fourth place in Uruguay's Apertura tournament. Nacional will be playing without their two defenders, Juan Izquierdo and Diego Polenta, who were injured in that last domestic match. The interesting thing about Nacional is that they have a Nigerian player on their roster, Christian Ebere, who has scored 2 goals in the league and 1 goal in the Libertadores tournament in the second qualifying round. So it'll be an interesting encounter in the Estadio Monumental, but I do expect River to emerge with the victory, perhaps with some effort, given their recent trends. So that wraps up the preview of the second match day of the Copa Libertadores group stage. And a reminder that you can stream every match of the tournament on Fanatiz or Fubo Sports. If you prefer to listen to radio broadcasts in Spanish or Portuguese, many clubs and affiliated radio stations stream their broadcasts online or on YouTube. So an internet search could be sufficient to find those broadcasts. If you want to follow me and send a comment or question, my X handle is @Soccermetrics. You can also send questions or comments to @SoccerDownHere or to Jason Longshore at @Longshoe. We will answer your questions about the tournament in a future episode. And we do appreciate your comments as we strive to make this show better. I'll be back late on Thursday to recap the second match day of the Copa Libertadores group stage. This has been the Soccermetrics Copa Libertadores show, a production of Soccermetrics and Soccer Down Here. See you later. Hasta luego. E hasta más.